There was a moment in history when a simple piece of cloth carried the power of heaven, a prophet's mantle that struck the waters and split a river in two. This is the story of Elijah and Elisha and the divine transfer that changed everything. Elijah was no ordinary man. He called down fire from heaven, shut the skies with his words, and stood fearless before kings. But his time on earth was coming to an end. God was about to take him up, not by death, but by a whirlwind. And walking by his side that day was his faithful student, Elisha, who refused to let him go. From Gilgal to Bethel, from Jericho to the Jordan, Elijah kept saying, "Stay here, Elisha. The Lord has sent me on." But Elisha answered, "As surely as the Lord lives, and as you live, I will not leave you." He followed him every step of the way, determined to receive what his master carried. When they reached the Jordan River, Elijah took off his mantle, that rough, prophetic garment, rolled it up, and struck the water. Instantly, the river parted, and the two men walked across on dry ground. It was the same power that once split the Red Sea, now flowing through a prophet's hands. On the other side, Elijah turned and asked, "Tell me, what can I do for you before I'm taken?" Elisha replied, "Let me inherit a double portion of your spirit." Elijah said, "You've asked a hard thing, but if you see me when I'm taken from you, it will be yours." And suddenly it happened. The sky roared. A chariot of fire and horses of fire appeared, separating them. Elijah was lifted up by a whirlwind into heaven. Elisha cried out, my father, the chariots of Israel and its horsemen." Then Elijah was gone, but something fell from the sky, his mantle. Elisha picked it up. The mantle that once rested on Elijah's shoulders now lay in his hands. He walked back to the Jordan, holding the symbol of prophetic authority. He stood before the same river that had parted earlier, and he cried, "Where now is the Lord, the God of Elijah?" Then he struck the water with the mantle, and the river split again. The power wasn't in the fabric. It was in the anointing that the mantle represented, the presence of God that moves through those who carry his spirit. That day, the sons of the prophets watching from afar said, "The spirit of Elijah rests on Elisha." This story reminds us that God's power doesn't die with his servants, it passes on. When one generation finishes its race, God raises another. The same spirit that moved through Elijah now lives in every believer who walks in faith. You don't need a physical mantle, you need the fire of the Spirit. When God's anointing rests on you, doors open, waters part, and mountains move. The mantle was a symbol, but the true power is in the presence of God that goes with you. This is the prophet's mantle that split a river, a story of legacy, faith, and the unstoppable power of God's Spirit, proving that what begins with one faithful servant can continue through another. Thanks for watching.